I was saddened to read in the 2014 interim report of the Royal Commission into institutional responses to child sexual abuse that they had received over 3,000 individual accounts of abuse and or of harm suffered. 41% of the institutions mentioned were Catholics. We must continue to support wholeheartedly the efforts of employees, volunteers, clergy and religious of the diocese who daily demonstrate their commitment to the protection of children and vulnerable adults. Nonetheless, the abuse of the young that has been highlighted is simply unacceptable. Along with other church leaders, I have struggled with how best to act. I'm sure that we now have to implement a much stronger policy and adopt more effective practices in safeguarding children and vulnerable adults. To this end, last year I established a Diocesan Professional Standards and Safeguards Committee, whose members have helped devise a new policy. I am now happy to approve the fruit of their work, a policy document entitled Safeguarding Children and the Vulnerable. This policy updates all previous policies and seeks to set out best practice to enable the prevention of harm and the protection of children. Sadly, I acknowledge that I cannot give fail-safe guarantees that no harm will ever come to the most vulnerable among us. But I believe that the new policy is a decisive step in the right direction for the Diocese of Toowoomba. The policy includes a clear written policy statement, resources that can assist recruitment and selection processes for both paid and volunteer workers, a code of ethical behaviour, responsible management of disclosure and mandatory reporting of suspected criminal behaviour to the police. This policy provides a practical means by which to embrace a guardianship culture for those who are vulnerable to harm and or abuse. The policy, along with the monitoring of parish practices and regular auditing for compliance purposes, will give effect to the recommendations from the Truth, Justice and Healing Council. It is my sincere hope that this new policy makes it crystal clear to all who work for the Church that we will be more vigilant, more transparent and more accountable. A policy, as you know, is only as good as the people who implement it or fail to implement it. May the Lord give all of us the strength of commitment and the compassion needed to bring about best practice for the protection of children and vulnerable adults.